up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back. We're here with
Yo.
another NFL Power Rankings. I can't believe it, but we're already on to week 6 here. Feels like we just started this channel and this series, yesterday. But here we are doing another video, and we will get right into it after a great week of football last week.
Yeah, and to your point, the season's been flying by, man. It's crazy. But 32nd team, obviously we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Big blowout loss to the Titans last week. Hoping to get their first win this week against Miami. But it's probably not going to happen if we're being honest.
31st, you got the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You guys should at least be 2-3 right now, potentially 3-2. But unfortunately, same old for the Lions. Dan Campbell crying after the post game. It's going to be a long year for you guys, but at least you got someone that cares as much. Your coach cares as much as the players do, and that's something you like to see.
Yeah. At 30, we got the New York Giants. They lost in a blowout game against the Cowboys as well. The Giants looked good in the first half, but they just couldn't stop them in the second half, which is a big telling point of the score. 44-20. Next week they got the Rams, so they'll look to get back on track, but it's not likely, in my opinion.
And also something to monitor is Daniel Jones, Saquon, all of them, because they got hurt.
Saquon, yeah.
So monitor their injuries moving forward. But at 29th, we got the Miami Dolphins. Tua shall be returning this week against Jacksonville, but it's a battle pretty much of which dumpster is prettier. Throw the trash in. So expect a close game, but it could be really high scoring, could be low scoring, just because you don't really know what you're going to get out of these two teams.
Right. 28, we got the Texans. Close game last week against the Patriots. I think they're a little bit better. They're a tier up than those first 4 teams that we just talked about. They just have some capability on offense, which I didn't think was going to happen without Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm. And Tyrod too,
Yeah, without Tyrod too. David Mills had a great game last week. So offense looked decent. They got the Colts this week, still in a rebuild, so there's not much to say.
27th, you get the Jets. First of 4 teams this week, and first of the year on a bye weeks are starting to happen. I'm moving them up 2 here, just because they had a pretty competitive game against Atlanta. Not in the first half, but they showed fight in the second half. Just got in a deficit early and couldn't get out of that hole. But Zach Wilson is starting to become the number 2 pick that everyone thought he would be. He had that rough 3 interception game early on, but every week he's progressed and became a better quarterback. It's just a matter of his accuracy and how that'll develop over time.
At 26, we got the Atlanta Falcons. They just came off a win against the Jets. Not too pretty of a win. Offense looked pretty good, though. Matt Ryan's been looking good, and they're the next team that's on a bye. So fantasy owners, Calvin Ridley, I know he was hurt, but that'll help them out and maybe help them out for next week.
25th, you got the Colts in a heartbreaking loss to Baltimore. Colts, what are you doing? You had that one on lock for sure. And then you just decided to not play football in the second half, I guess. Lamar MVP potentially, man. Who knows? But I think the Colts will get back on track this week going against the Texans, and it's a much-needed win for this Colts team.
Agreed. At 24, moving down 3 spots, we got the Washington football team. 2-3 record on the year. They just came off a loss to the Saints, which they played good football in until about the 4th quarter. They kind of blew it a little bit, but they got the Chiefs this week. They got a struggling Chiefs defense, so they need to exploit that and play good defense. I think they have a chance in this game.
Mm-hmm.
They just got to play really good physical football on defense.
23rd, we got your Steelers, and kind of a surprising win last week, if I'm going to be honest, against Denver.
Yep.
I know in our picks, you took the Steelers, obviously a little biased, and I guess you felt really confident somehow in that one.
Yeah, no, I just figured the Steelers defensive line would just give them fits and would put enough pressure on Denver's offensive line basically to make mistakes, which they did. So
Also,
big
something
W.
worth noting, Juju's out for the year. So that's going to be a big loss for the
That's a big
Steelers.
loss. That's a big
But,
loss.
it opens up the door for like a guy like James Washington, even Najee, getting more passes and making maybe having a breakout year. But at 22nd, we got the Bears. Our first 3-2 team, we kind of rank them this low just because we don't really know what this Bears team is capable of doing now with Fields for sure the starting quarterback. When he started, they're 2-0. Ugly but grinded out win last week against Vegas.
Yep.
But now they got the Packers at home at 1:00. Should be a good game like always.
This is going to be a big statement game. If they win this, then they're obviously going to go up in the power rankings a lot because it's a big divisional game. But
especially
we just don't know yet.
The Packers are hot too after they lost their first game. So this is the game where they're going to really see what Fields is made of here.
At 21st, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat the Panthers. They came back down 15-3 or something like that. So big win there for Jalen Hurts and company there. So they got to build off that this week against the Bucks. It's going to be a tough one. I'm taking the Bucks in this game, but
20th, not moving at all. You got the Vikings. Should be 1-4, but got lucky because Detroit scored with too much time on the clock. And, there's not really too much said about this team. Kirk Cousins, he had it for the first 3 weeks, and now he's lost it for the first 3 weeks. I don't really know. It's more of what Kirk Cousins you're going to get is the whole Vikings team, honestly, now. With Cook being out the last 2 weeks, hoping to get him back this week for Carolina. And, that's just something worth noting is this Vikings team, how they can perform without Cook.
Right. Next, we got the Patriots. They looked really sloppy against the Texans. I thought they were going to lose, personally. They should have lost. They didn't play as good at football. But the offense just does not look like it's clicking, in my opinion, which is why they're down at 19. I think they could be a team that falls after a few weeks and be a bottom team, in my opinion.
18th, we got the Denver Broncos. Last week they lost to your Steelers, and you were right. The offensive line couldn't really handle TJ Watt and company. It was just an ugly game overall. Big Ben, he had a good throw, one deep bomb. I texted Ethan and said, he's back, man. Big Ben is back, but it kind of went downhill after that. Yeah. But, I expect with this Broncos team to get back on track here because they got the Raiders and, the whole situation's going on there in Vegas. So I think it'll just be too much, and the Broncos will get to 4-2.
Yep, and next at 17, we got the Panthers. They just came off a loss. They just blew their lead. But I think when McCaffrey comes back healthy, I think that offense is going to be clicking on a different cylinder, and I think they're going to get on a roll. This week they should beat the Vikings anyway, because that defense has been looking scary this year. It's been one of the better defenses in the league, so watch out for them.
16th, Seattle. I expect this team to start creeping down in them power rankings a little bit. Now that Russ is out for at least 4 weeks, potentially up to 10, just how he heals his finger, and we'll go from there. But Geno Smith, he looked pretty capable of filling that void in the second half there against the Rams, as he led them right down the field, but just too much of a deficit at half as well, where they couldn't really get that back. But now that Geno Smith will be prepared and ready to go, it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers try to prepare for him and how he prepares for the Steelers.
Next, we got the Niners. Couldn't score last week at all, really, until the fourth quarter. But they got a bye this week, so that should help them out. Trey Lance kind of looked confused out there, but in their defense, they just went against the number 1 team in the league right now, undefeated, the only undefeated team. So I mean, don't look too much into it. Niners are probably going to be the third best team in this division this year, depending on how long Russell's out, though.
Mm-hmm.
You never know about that, but they got a good defense. Their roster is solid overall, so they're going to win some games this year for sure.
14th, you got the Las Vegas Raiders. They play the Broncos this week, and there's not really much to talk about this Raiders team other than the John Gruden resign. All over the emails that got released, and I don't want to get too in depth on that, but it's just not a good situation here for the Raiders. So it could either bring this team closer together, or they might just start slipping through the cracks and see a downfall go here. It'll be interesting to see how this team responds, though.
Number 13, we got the Saints. Now, they did just beat Washington. Washington kind of didn't play great football, though. You don't really know what you're going to get out of the Saints. It's kind of feels like they're going to score 33 and they're going to score 13 and then 40. But I mean, it's a good win. Jameis looked decent. I think if he limits the interceptions and turnovers, it'll be a lot better. So yeah, 13 is the right spot for him right now, I think.
12th, you got the Bengals. Should have won this game.
Yep, should have won.
But then again, you could have said they could have lost because of kicking. Probably the worst kicking game I've ever seen in history. That's for sure. But they look to have a bounce back week, moving 4-2 against the Lions, who play it tough. But I think they will prevail, and Burrow will have a good game this week.
Number 11, we got the Titans. This week, they finally look like they were back a little bit. Titans offense. Now they have a tough task to face in the Bills, and it's going to be. I hope if they play them tough, it'll be a good game. But they don't have much of a shot against that really red hot Bills offense right now. But Derrick Henry's been looking great. So
at 10th, we got the Chiefs. Pretty high for a 2 and 3 ranking, you could say, for a team. But this Chiefs team coming off a Super Bowl loss, they still look a little hungover here. Getting there, to get into the Super Bowl. The defense has not played great at all, and Mahomes he has tied his interceptions this year of 6 with what he had all of last year in the regular season of 6. So, you can blame it on Mahomes, blame it on the defense, but moral of the story is it comes down to Andy Reid right now because he's the head guy of this team, should be coaching and leading them to victory, but he's just not getting it done. And it'll be interesting to see how they come out this week against Washington, who, will play it tough. And as they look,
it's going to be a physical game.
Yeah, as they look to get back to 500 here.
Number 9, we got the Cleveland Browns. They just lost in a very heartbreaking shootout. The thing with the Browns, they have the best, I think they might have the best roster in the NFL, but when it comes down to the 2-minute offense and you need to score, they can't do it because they know the defense knows they're going to pass, and it's just Baker can't make those throws. So, I mean, that's just where they're going to be for a while because they don't have one of those top quarterbacks.
I agree with you there. And they need to get Odell more involved. After his first game back, I think he's only seen a total of 6 targets in 2 games. If you're paying this dude all this money, you got to get him involved. Give him the ball, running, jet sweeps, little screens, whatever. Just get the ball in his hands, and good things will happen. But at 8th, we got the Cowboys. Start slowly creeping up here in our power rankings, as I know a lot of other big name companies are doing the Cowboys in the top 5, but I think they're kind of going all in on them too early here. They've played a few division games and won them, and their division isn't the best right now.
Right.
But they did play the Bucs tough week 1, and this team could be 5-0. But I expect this team to slowly keep creeping up, because they're going to keep winning. They play the Patriots this week, and I think Dak
should win that
have
as
a
well.
big game for sure. And something worth noting is the defense this year. It's a completely different story on what they had last year. Trayvon Diggs looks like potential defensive player of the year. 6 interceptions, 5 games, and we'll see if he can continue his streak of getting an interception in every single game.
Number 7, we got your Packers. They move the ball well against the Bengals. The Bengals are a tough team, so I'm not going to give you too much crap for that. They're a tough team. They play the Bears next week. They should win that. It's going to be an upset for the Bears, maybe, but probably not. But
probably not, man. But I'm just interested to see how Mason Crosby is going to respond.
Yeah,
after
exactly.
last week
That's
missing
what I was going to say.
A total of, I think, 4 kicks, an extra point, 3 field goals.
Yeah, didn't he miss 2 field goals in the fourth quarter and then a field goal in overtime?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
But last year he had a game just like it against the Lions. And then the rest of the year he started his consecutive streak up until this game of 29 straight field goals, I think he made. So
yeah,
I expect him to rebound and, put it behind him as the Pack will look to get back on track. See what I did there? But at 6th, we got potential MVP candidate Lamar Jackson's Ravens. If you still don't think this dude can throw, like, you shouldn't be watching football. What was it? I think it was 442 against the Colts defense, who's supposed to have a average to top 10 defense. And he did pretty much all that in the second half, if we're going to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say at least 300 of his yards were second half only. And when you got Marquise Brown, a potential, player,
like comeback player of the year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe comeback player. Pro Bowl.
I feel like Dak has that. I feel like Dak will win that.
Yeah, but tough task as you got the Chargers. We're actually number 5 on our list here. So it should be an interesting game there. And
it's going to be a great game.
We're going to see how the Ravens are going to be able to handle this Charger offense.
Yeah, and you know what time this game starts? Because
I think it's 4:25.
It's probably America's game of the week. Yeah, this is going to be a really good one. I think the Chargers have the speed on defense to contain Lamar in the passing. So that'll be interesting. And Herbert and that offense is just insanely explosive. So I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a good game. At number 4, we have the Los Angeles Rams. They did just beat the Seahawks 26-17. Not the most impressive win, but they still got it done, which is all that matters. They got the Giants next week. Should be another win. So they're looking good right now.
3rd, we got the Bucs dismantling that Miami team, pretty much making them not want to play football anymore.
Basically.
Something worth noting, though, is technically today when I'll be releasing this video, or maybe tonight on Wednesday, we'll see. They play Thursday night, and we'll see how Brady's doing. He got a thumb injury picked up from the Miami game. But it's nothing too serious. But if it was a Sunday game, he'd be fine, ready to go. But since it's a Thursday night game, it's something worth monitoring. And we'll see if they run the ball a little more this week just to, preserve Brady for, the rest of the season. It's not worth risking it in week 6 here in a pretty weak NFC South this year. But at number 2, Ethan,
we got the Buffalo Bills, and they might be the most explosive team and the most statement win from this week. 31-20 win over the Chiefs, and it felt like more. It honestly felt like more. Like, they had a chance to score a couple times at the end of the game. They got the Titans this week. Their Titans defense doesn't have much, so you expect Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders to have big games. And just expect this Bills team.
Don't forget about
Dawson Knox
this year.
Yeah, he is. That offense has been great, and with the defense last week too, they've been scoring, and fantasy wise have been up to like 30 plus basically in our league. So they've been one of the best teams in football, and it shows. 4-1.
At number 1,
we got number 1.
We got the Cardinals staying put. They're not moving until they lose, and they're going to be moving next week. I'm taking the Browns in an upset. Kind of a preview of our game picks here, but I just think that this Browns team is due to win one of these games where it's going to come down to the wire. And I think out of all the teams they've played, I think the Cardinals, aren't as good as the Chargers this year, just because I've seen the Chargers put up so many points and be able to hold you when it matters, which is a different look for the Chargers this year. But I haven't seen a game like that for the Cardinals, so I could be wrong here, but it'll be interesting to see. And I expect a game where both teams are in the 30s, low 30s, high 30s, potentially even 40s.
Yeah, honestly.
And I just think with the Browns, I think Odell will put it together. Hopefully they get him involved, and I think he'll have a good game. But nothing to take away from this Cardinals team is this defense this year has been great with the addition of J.J. Watt. That's not getting talked about as much. Everyone's talking about Kyler for MVP because he's 5-0 right now, whatever. But this defense is what's made Kyler so great this year. Getting quick stops and letting Kyler just have the ball. So
right.
Defense will win championships is the saying that everyone says, and this Cardinals team right now has proved it through the first 5 games.
Yeah, agreed. They've looked really good, and a 5-0 start really proves it. So, but that's all for the power rankings for this week. It's already week 6. The season's going by really fast, so stay tuned. We got videos every week. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Give us any what's it called? Give us
feedback.
Yeah, give us some good feedback there in the comments. Until next time, Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.